Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Barbie. If you're new here, make sure that you click on the subscribe button. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Firstly, before we get anywhere, I just want to wish you guys a happy 2023. I hope that this year brings a lot of good things in your year, and that you get all that you're praying and hoping for in this year. And I hope you get to achieve all your goals, all the things that you have put down to achieve in this year. If you haven't planned yet, I think you still have some time to do some planning and achieve all that you want to achieve. So in today's video, it's inspired by me looking back at some of the pictures and videos that I took last year when I was actually moving, and I was like, there is actually a lot that I didn't know about rentals, particularly, that I think would have helped me just a bit more in making the transition between moving different cities in South Africa much more easier. Particularly, I moved from Bloemfontein, or in between Bloemfontein, Joburg and Cape Town. So I wanted to do this video so that I can help you actually make a better transition, or better your transition between moving the different cities. So I will be giving you a few tips onto what to look for, as you can see in the title of this video. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. Firstly, I think it's very important that you know what your budget is and what you can actually afford to spend on a monthly basis on the rental. So this will help you in narrowing the places that you are potentially looking at. It doesn't matter. I think most of us actually like looking at property, or some of us like looking at property 24 and looking at houses and apartments that we actually can't afford. But it's very important that when you're actually looking out for the place that you want to rent, that you actually narrow your search on property 24, on private property, be it 6,000, be it 7,000, so that it's easier for you to look and find the place that's more suited to your budget. But I think it's also very important to consider things such as water, electricity, internet, storage, or any other additional costs that may come in with getting the rental. And basically, just if a rental is 6,000, which is a standard amount that I'm going to use as an example. So if your rent is 6,000 and the place or wherever the rentals, they say that they don't pay, or in that 6,000, water is not included, or electricity is not included, or you have to get your own fiber. It's very important to add on and add to that 6,000, be it 500 for water, 500 for electricity, and 500 for fiber. That actually amounts to like 7.5, which is actually more than what they actually put out there. And that you add all of those prices, so that when you do compare different places, you actually don't fall outside of your budget and what you're actually willing to spend on the place. But additionally, I think it's very important in moving to determine, especially if you are comparing to move between Joburg or Cape Town, to determine the amount of money that you actually want to spend on a deposit. Because in Cape Town, what I experience is that you actually get to pay 2 times in terms of deposits. You get to spend 2 times your rental for a deposit, or 1.5 times your deposit times your rent as a deposit. Whereas in Cape Town, whereas in Joburg, you actually just pay your rental amount is actually just your deposit. But I've actually found that in doing my research, that in Joburg, especially with most of these new development places, you actually get to just spend. They actually give you the opportunity to not pay rent for the first month, or not pay the deposit for the first 3 months, whatever. But I think it's very important that you actually look into the contract and see if there's any hidden details, which is a tip that I'll actually touch on later into the video. Any hidden details in the contract that you actually might look out for. But importantly, guys, make sure that you know what your budget is and stick to that budget. Nudge your search so that it goes or fits in within your budget. Secondly, guys, I think it's very important that you look into the neighborhood or suburb that you actually want to get into. So I think, yeah, once you have your budget, I think it's very important that you search the different places, either in Joburg or wherever you are moving to. So one of the common places that people might actually, I think as a departure point is Google Maps feature, where you can actually look at the road of where the area is. You will get an understanding as to where exactly it is, and I think also get an experience of what actually people are saying about the area. Go on to different social media platforms. I use Twitter particularly to look into the places and suburbs that I was looking at or looking into renting at. So I believe it will give you an understanding as to what people are saying, crime at the area, if there's water problems, like we know Fourways is known for, or electricity problems that go around. Load shedding is a problem. So I think at this point most of us are looking at areas that are close most probably to like hospitals, or close to where the government officials are staying at, most probably to run away from load shedding. I'm not even saying, no, don't take it, I don't want to get into trouble, so I'm not saying that government officials are not getting load shedding, but yeah, we all know. But yeah, I think it's very important that you get that into those nitty gritties. If you are looking for a place that's close to work, or looking for a place that is close to public transport or easily accessible to public transport, I think it's very important that you do this research and basically see where you can get your next Gautrain, where you can get your next taxi if you don't want to take Ubers or Bolt and stuff. But I think it's very important that you get a place that's actually closer to like a supermarket, so that you don't have to travel as far to get your groceries or any other things that you might be looking for, medicine, hospitals and stuff. So make sure that you do your research when it comes to this, and get the place that's suited for you and that can accommodate your lifestyle as well. Thirdly, I think it's very important that you do tour the residence or place that you actually are looking into. So tour the property, make sure that the apartment is in a good condition and it meets all your needs. One thing I knew that when looking for an apartment is that I do not want an apartment or place that has carpet because of my sinuses. So I had to make sure that I look for a place that's either tiled or has like wooden, like, you guys get what I'm trying to say, but like wooden things. So make sure that you actually get an area that's more suited to your needs. But make sure that you actually investigate or you look into anything, because one thing about agents is that they will make you pay for any cracks or any other signs of damages. So make sure that you actually you take pictures of these. If there are any cracks, if there's any damages, you take pictures of those and you document them, so that when you leave the place, you don't actually get to pay for what you didn't damage and stuff. And make sure that you report them to your agent as well, so that they are aware of those leaks or cracks or any damages, so that they actually can fix them, or if they're not going to fix them, that they are at least aware of it and you're not going to be liable for them. I particularly didn't have the liberty of having to go view the property physically, so I depended on friends and family as well as the agents to take videos for me in the areas, or to look in terms of my friends and family, to look at the places for me, and talk and ask the right questions with the agent or the landlord for me. So yeah, which actually brings me to my next tip, which is ask questions. You make sure that you understand the lease that you'll be signing, and ensure that you know the rules of where you'll be staying. You don't want to find yourself hosting a party and then security coming to come shut it down, or you're busy playing loud music like I like doing, and then people come knocking down on your door saying that you should lower the volume, or knowing that, or maybe you are bringing a lot of people, visitors to come visit, and then people coming knocking on your door saying that you can't have visitors over. So it's very important that you ask the necessary questions when you are or before you actually sign your lease, and you understand what your lease actually does entail. And going back to cost, if there's any additional cost that you need to pay, be as blunt as possible, because at the end of the day you need to understand that it's your money that will be going towards this rental. So make sure that you do ask the necessary questions. Example of things that you actually can ask is basically, for example, the length, how long is the lease that you'll be signing, if there's any deposit that you'll be required to pay, and what that deposit is. And actually, guys, do ask where your deposit is going. Is it going to be put in an investment account? What is the interest that is going to be paid on that, on your deposit while you are staying at the lease? What is the notice period should you need to leave the place? What is the cancellation fee that you would need to pay when cancelling your lease prematurely and stuff? So make sure that you know if there's going to be a cleanup, cleaning your place, know what the cleaning fee is. If there's an admin fee, make sure that you know what the admin fee is. Basically, know exactly what you're paying for, and make it as clear as possible. But guys, as well, I think it's very important that you looking at the place that you want to look at the safety, because it's very important that it's safe where you actually want to stay. And if you want to take walks, you can take walks. You get everything in writing. It is not said, I think it goes across everything, be it at work, be it anything that is done professionally, anything, put it in writing. If it's not in writing, then it never happened. Basically, that's a principle I go with. So make sure that you get everything, you send everything, your lease, you have everything, all the documents via email. You don't be skibengwed by the skibengwas who will, because guys, we know the crime rate in South Africa is very high. So make sure that you are not robbed, and people are not taking advantage of you. So make sure that you get everything in writing, be it a conversation that happened via WhatsApp. Ensure that you confirm everything via email, so that there's an email trail between you, the agent, or the landlord, and should there be any disputes at the end, or any problems that might arise while you are staying there, or when you want to actually move out, everything will be in email, and you'll have a track record of everything that happened between you and the landlord. Also to consider is whether the place that you're renting at has it has parking, and you don't have to pay additional charges for parking. So ensure that when you do your research, that if you do have a car, that is, as passengers, we can just walk without stressing about whether we can have cars or not, or parking or not. But for those who do have cars or planning on getting cars, ensure that the area that you'll be staying at does have parking, and you will not be stressing about whether to pay additional charges for parking. Another important consideration is being a good citizen by ensuring that you do pay your rent, and if it's possible, saving at least up to 2 months of rent. I know it can be a challenge for most people. I know it's a challenge for myself as well. But where possible, try to at least save up to 2 months of your rent. So because we all know that emergencies do happen, and we don't want to find ourselves in an awkward position and find that we can't actually pay up for rent. So ensure that you do save up for the 2 months. It reminds me of a story of an agent that actually gave me like a runaround because of a previous tenant. Because I'm young, I faced a lot of challenges with this this agent in Joburg, because the previous tenant was a similar age as mine, and they struggled to pay their rent. So the agent automatically thought that I'm probably also not going to be able to pay up the rent, which they added so many other steps. I had to put my parents as surety that I'll be able to pay up the rent. There were just so many unnecessary procedures that I had to follow that I was just so tired, and I just ended up losing up I just stopped the process with that specific agent. So guys, let's just be responsible citizens, ensure that we do pay up our rent, and especially most importantly for insurance, but also you want to have a good record or good reputation for yourself as well. And then moving on, in the apartment that I'm currently in or staying at now, there's actually something that happened where one of my neighbors' apartment actually flooded because of the heavy rain that we experienced towards the end of the year. And I'm not sure if you actually do have rent insurance, but you should ensure that you do have rent insurance. Should anything happen naturally, that your things are actually safe, and that you can actually claim insurance on your stuff should anything happen out of the blue. Should the roof collapse all of a Sunday, or should it rain and then the rain doesn't want to stop raining, or should there be some wind that blows away the whole apartment, you want to actually make sure that you are actually insured if you do not already have household insurance, which is a story for another day, but I think it's something that we all should have, because we never know. Some thief can come in and come steal everything that's in your apartment if the safety of wherever you're staying at, it's not that secure. And the last one before moving on, just a side one, which I personally wouldn't do, is just ensuring that you understand the move in and the move out of your process at your apartment. So if you move out a bit earlier, you have to pay an X amount. I had to move out in Cape Town a bit earlier than the agreed lease term, so I didn't read then that I need to pay a cancellation fee. Should they not find someone to stay at the apartment, I would need to pay 1 month more or that month's rent. So there's so many things that are considered when you are actually moving out of an apartment. So make sure that that's very clear on the onset, so that should you decide to move out, or should anything happen and you need to move out, then you know exactly what are the processes that you need to follow. But also, should your lease come to an end, what are the terms that are actually stipulated within your lease that you need to do, but also what the agent or the landlord is supposed to do should that time come and stuff. And then lastly, one of the things that I particularly would not do because of who I am and because of preference, honestly, is not get a roommate. I would not get a roommate, but if you are looking at, I know it does make rent a bit cheaper if there's 2 people sharing, and I would really recommend it if you are staying in Cape Town and you want to stay in the CBD, which actually does cost more than the outskirts of Cape Town, is to get a roommate, share the price. It is a bit cheaper to share and live with someone, especially if you are in the city center, because rent can go up to 12, 15, close to 20k. So you can consider doing being a roommate with someone, reaching out on them on Twitter. Most people around this time are going on Twitter and saying, yo, do you want to be a roommate, whatever. Or you can use various platforms which are available that you can use to get a roommate, that you can flatmate, roommate, whatever you call it, that you can share the apartment with, to lessen the costs that are out there. But also in Joburg, I think the option is still available as well, and anywhere also in the country, but wherever you might be also around the world, I think that option is available. But personally, I wouldn't go about it because I wouldn't want to share an apartment with anyone. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If it was, please make sure that you click on the like button, you subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone who might find this video helpful. I think I might do another video around moving, especially just focusing on the supplier side of things in terms of companies that you can use to courier your stuff and stuff. But I really hope that you found this video useful, and make sure, let me know if it was helpful actually in the comment section below. And yeah, guys, thank you. I'll see you guys in another video with Robbery. Ciao. Bye.